There cannot be many areas of this terrestrial globe that have been the source of more human pleasure and inspired more literature on history, geology, botany, romance, and other subjects. So wrote John MacArthur Harris, author of a Wissahickon anthology. No less impressive has been the influence of the valley on painters, poets, musicians, and artists of all kinds. And the Wissahickon has had its share of fame. Washington's troops fought the Hessians to a bloody standstill on the horrendous hills of the Wissahickon. Ben Franklin called for its preservation in his will. Edgar Allan Poe called it one of the real Edens of the land. And George Lepard, a popular 19th century novelist, made it the setting for several of his stories, prompting one of his readers, none other than Mark Twain, to remark, "Lepard has rendered the Wissahickon sacred in my eyes, and I shall make that trip soon." Today it accommodates the needs of a growing number of outdoor enthusiasts from the Delaware Valley and beyond. Very few city parks anywhere in the world can offer such a wide range of activities year-round. It has been designated a Natural History Landmark by the Department of the Interior, and the pride that local residents take in their park is evident in the names of many surrounding schools, churches, and businesses. And the annual Wissahickon Day never fails to draw enthusiastic crowds. But the problems besetting the Wissahickon are considerable. Increased development, extended overuse, erosion, illegal dumping, and vandalism, to name just a few. But it is only the degree and not the nature of the problems that make them unique to our time. That it has survived at all is a tribute to the resilience of the valley and the dedication of those people who loved it. The Wissahickon runs 19 miles from Montgomery County to the Schuylkill River. The 7-mile stretch within Philadelphia passes through a rocky, forested gorge known as the Wissahickon Valley of Fairmount Park. The original inhabitants were the Lenni Lenape. For thousands of years they hunted and gathered in the valley. They believed that nature reflected the realm of the spirit. They had names for all of the plants and animals and knew them by sight. They called the creek Wissahickon, Yellow Stream, and when the colonists came, they welcomed them and shared their knowledge of the land. Some of the first outsiders to settle here were monks and mystics. They came to escape religious persecution and to find God in the wilderness. Local legends are rich with accounts of strange and mysterious happenings in the woods. But within a few decades, the valley had been completely taken over by industry. Mills of all types dominated the landscape. Taverns and roadhouses sprung up. Between the noise and pollution of the mills by day and the carousing of the workers at night, the Wissahickon had become a very rowdy place. But two factors would dramatically change the course of events. The first was typhoid. It infected the water supply. It was caused by outhouses being carelessly placed too close to streams and rivers. The second factor was the emergence of Romanticism, a popular literary and artistic movement from Europe that viewed nature as a beautiful end in itself, rather than something to be conquered. People began to see the Wissahickon in a whole new light. So in 1868, the newly formed Fairmount Park Commission began to buy up land along the creek and to tear down the mills and taverns. By the time Philadelphia hosted America's centennial, the Wissahickon was one of the city's proudest points of interest. Thousands from all over the world came to visit. It was fast becoming a popular pleasure ground for the genteel citizens of the Victorian age. The sophisticated Philadelphians of the 1920s had less time for pastoral pursuits and felt that government money could be better spent improving the roads and modernizing the growing city. The park was low on their list of priorities. So in 1925, a group of concerned neighbors met at the home of local businessman Samuel F. Houston. This led to the formation of the Friends of the Wissahickon. Over the years, they have planted tens of thousands of trees and helped to acquire adjacent lands. They have supported with time and money many projects in the Wissahickon Valley, always supplementing, never replacing, the work of the Fairmount Park Commission. The Friends have also been instrumental in keeping the Valley Green Inn in operation and are committed to modernizing its facilities while restoring and maintaining its 19th century facade. Recently, the Conservation Committee of the Friends was formed to address the following ecological issues. The job of trail repair and maintenance is a constant and ongoing struggle, and volunteers are always needed for this important aspect of our work. Another area of concern is the dissemination of park rules and etiquette. The need for periodic cleanups is a sad fact of life in an urban park of this size. By showing that we care and publicizing our efforts, we set an example for others to follow. About 50,000 trees die in Fairmount Park each year. At this rate, most will be gone in 25 years. In the Wissahickon, the Friends plant new trees and shrubs and remove harmful tree-strangling vines and invasive exotics. In cooperation with the Fairmount Park Commission, we are encouraging concerned individuals and organizations to adopt small segments of the park and take responsibility for their care. Information is needed on the abundance of white-tailed deer and their impact on the park and surrounding neighborhoods. Funding for such a study is currently under consideration. Long-range goals include the restoration of formerly abundant fauna. About 60% of Americans change their own motor oil. Many of these people think that used motor oil dumped into storm sewer inlets ends up in a sewage treatment plant. However, in the Wissahickon Valley, anything put in a storm sewer goes right into the creek. This can kill fish and other aquatic life. Plus, small amounts of toxic substances in the oil can build up in sediments on the bottom of the stream, which can then be released in response to events such as storms. That's why we are stenciling this message on inlets. Another project is monitoring the flow from storm sewer pipes for signs of leakage from sanitary sewage plumbing. The Friends of the Wissahickon offers a broad range of membership categories with a variety of benefits available. All members receive a quarterly newsletter and a Wissahickon Valley map. The Wissahickon Valley is a piece of wilderness in the middle of a major metropolitan area. Its care is a huge and continuing task of conservation, preservation, and protection. Only the involvement of a concerned public can ensure the survival of the gentle Wissahickon.